Thank you for tuning into the Rap Palette with another news update as the saga continues once again. So, as things heat up with Tekashi 6ix9ine, there's more that unfolds in his spectacle online. And one is with our beloved brother, word to the streets, $1 million worth of game, Gillie the Kid. It was reported that Gillie the Kid exposed an alleged phone call he had with 6ix9ine. 6ix9ine asked him for an interview. You can get this article from Hot New Hip Hop. Gillie the Kid had no interest in a 6ix9ine offer or a face-to-face interview. Tekashi 6ix9ine has used Instagram Live to carry the narrative surrounding his release, and it wasn't until last week he did his first interview since being off of house arrest, sitting down with Billboard and New York Times. 6ix9ine tried to make false equivalence between himself, Drake, and Tupac while trying to justify cooperating with the government. It's never right to cooperate with the government, just to let you know that. Gillie the Kid revealed in an audio recording of a phone call he received from 6ix9ine himself, offering to complete a one-on-one interview where he can ask any question about everything. 6ix9ine essentially tried to present it as doing Gillie a favor by giving him the best thing you ever touch, which was very disrespectful. I'm going to tell you that one thing. And paraphrasing, I think it's a perfect one-on-one conversation. 6ix9ine is saying over the phone, I met you in Philadelphia. You seen my growth. This is probably the biggest thing you gonna ever touch, brother. There's nothing that you can't ask me, he continued, before invoking the names of Wayno, Joe Budden, and his apparent BFF academics. Gillie put it like this, and I'm paraphrasing what 6ix9ine was saying. He said, Gillie put it like this: look at the acts, look at the Waynos, look at the Budden. These ends ain't doing ish. You'll be the first end I'll sit down with. Gillie explained that he didn't know how 6ix9ine got his number in the first place, adding that the only reason he entertained the call because he was curious to see what was going on, not because he was considering accepting an interview in the first place with a rat. The biggest thing, and he replied to 6ix9ine with this, the biggest thing I've ever did in my life was the birth of his kids. Whew! I tell you this, when I heard that spoke so much into my soul. I'm not a father, but a lot of y'all who are fathers and mothers can understand that response. And he also replied, Gillie said, him and his team, we rightfully declined $1 million game. We're cool. Following his comments, Wallow, represent King Wallow. For a lot of y'all who don't know, Wallow did 20 years in prison. He was involved in a case with other guys and he did not snitch. And I'm going to explain more about that later on. Made it clear that there's no beef with Joe Budden or Wayno, saying that they appreciate any and anybody who pushing the culture forward. Gillie added that this whole thing was for 6ix9ine just to, he could be on a platform catering for the streets with someone to certify he was justified for his actions, or at least come to an agree to disagree on camera. It would end up being another way for 6ix9ine to double down on everything he said in the past few months since his release. He wants to get in the top ends as they look up and respect and get it on the platform. And he was going to do the same ish he's doing now. He was going to accept the fact that he ratted and he told on some ends, and that he was going to accept all of that. That he was going to say, what about such and such? He did this. What about this person? What about that person? You mess with Meek, a bunch of ish that don't do nothing and do not telling. It's just messy. And Gillie did not want no part of that. Now, brothers and sisters, you can go get that interview, $1 million worth of game, at the 1950 mark. I'm telling you, please go subscribe to them. Please go subscribe to Everyday Struggle. Please go subscribe to Joe Budden. These are guys with integrity. I'm telling you that. These are guys with integrity. I'm a small YouTuber, but I subscribe to them, and I just love the way they hold standards. You feel me? Now, I want to speak to a lot of you non-black people, and I'm also speaking to 6ix9ine in a sense as well. When you involve yourself in criminal activities, I'm going to try to explain this layman's term. If you say you're a street dude and you go off and do street things, and you get caught, accept your responsibility. You're not taking the fall for other people. You're accepting what you did at that time. When you tell, black people understand that's a cardinal sin, or meta. If you don't know what that means, go look it up. But for some reason, people who come in this culture like to listen to the music, like to recite the rap songs, but when stuff happens, they want to revert back to their culture. And this is what the sad thing about it is. It's just the same way where you got a lot of these people who own record labels exploit our music, and we own none of it at the end of the day. It's another thing. We have to blame ourselves for allowing people like 6ix9ine in here to do these type of things. And another thing, people, I want you to understand. It was all fun and dandy when he was making money in records. But fathers are not being home. Kids are going to grow up without no fathers. And you might say, oh, these are grown people. But you got to understand that he was a willing participant in this. This was his whole image he was portraying. He asked these guys to hang with him and portray with him. What about the sons and daughters who will never see their fathers for 10 to 20 years? Shotty, Mel Murder, Ro Murder. Ro had just came out from doing 10 years. Now he's back about to do another banger. That's 20 years he's about to do in the penal system. Caught up from a rainbow hater kid. I have no beef with him. Honestly, when he first came out, I loved his music. Cuda was my banger. The other joints was my banger, but me being a person who's been incarcerated before and who knows people who's been put away from other people telling something, it just doesn't sit right with me. It hurts in a sense. Because you want to know something? I don't care about Shotty and all these. I care about Shotty's kids. He got boys. You know what I mean? Mel Murder got a daughter. Who's going to protect them? Who's going to do that? You know what I mean? And that's the whole thing about it is. But you see the thing, it always a narrative that non-black people who are in this culture do not understand what black people understand. And let's get this straight. There's some black people who snitch on black people and they get dealt with. You don't hear their names anymore. We don't validate these guys. AKA Troy Ave. No disrespect to Troy Ave. I'm just putting this as an example where there's some moral compass. When you talk about being a street dude, you have to suffer the consequences about this. You bust a pistol, you rob, you steal, you talking on tracks, you this and that. Be a street dude and ride with that. But if you're not and you're a civilian and you say you're not a street dude, you don't subscribe to that, then hey, I'll stand right beside you. That's all I'm saying. Do me a favor, people. Find out who Shotty's baby mama is. Mel Murder, Ro Murder, Cuda. These guys who's going to be put away who has kids. Let's put a little something in their canteens. Let's show them a little love. Let's give them their flowers. Because you want to know why? A lot of them was victim of circumstances. Growing up in an impoverished neighborhood, that's a whole nother topic. Let's give them a little bit of love. Please, subscribe to $1 Million Worth of Game, Joe Buttons, and Everyday Struggle. And this is Rap Palette Out. Peace.